launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods, Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Thursday, November 17th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I know this might seem like some kind of woo-woo nonsense, but there are certain people who have an energy that almost feels like it has a gravitational pull to it. And when you're someone like Chris Bumstead, and you've essentially been like the sun with everyone else rotating around you, trapped inside of your orbit for the better part of the last 3 years, well, it makes sense that you're sending out all sorts of championship energy vibes right now. At least anecdotally, Chris does seem to have a little bit more juice to him compared to what he was doing last year, which can probably be attributed to a lot of things, including the fact that there was a contingent of people out there early on who said that they thought he might be getting complacent, which clearly isn't the case. He's basically radiating championship rays right now, and you'd imagine that those feelings will only continue to get stronger as we get closer to the Olympia. In the past, I've gone on the record to say that we definitely need to expand the lexicon of language that you use in bodybuilding, because the fact that we're stuck on using the same 6 or 7 words to describe the way people look for the last 2 decades, at the very least, is a symbolic lack of creativity. So we're not going to do that. The next level conditioning that Charles Griffen right now has is beyond shredded. This is what we're calling extraterrestrial conditioning, because he looks like something that might have landed here from another planet. Obviously, there are only a handful of sports that are actually up for grabs in the top 10, which means that there are going to be a lot of really talented individuals who find themselves on the outside looking in. But if Charles is only one of a handful of guys who are capable of delivering one of these extraterrestrial looks, he's going to make it awfully hard for the judges at the Olympia to keep him out of that top 10 group. I want you to check out the latest update from Justin Rodriguez and then try to answer this question for me. If this is where he is right now and his team is telling him that it's time for him to really start pushing, how crazy do you think his conditioning will be once he gets down to the nitty-gritty of the last few days, when it's time to start making these last-minute adjustments? Given the amount of people we know that are planning to play the size game this year at the Olympia to keep up with Big Ramy, it almost feels like we're bound to see at least 1 or 2 guys who have a hard time hitting the mark with their conditioning, which could present a golden opportunity for someone like Justin to make a few moves and capitalize on these opportunities. We just saw the Eagles lose to a terrible Washington team on Monday night, and if there's one major takeaway from that, it's that even great teams can be beaten if they show up flat. So if Justin is ready and opportunistic, he'll be in the perfect position to knock them all down like dominoes. Even though there hasn't been quite as many fireworks in the wellness division up to this point in the year, which is largely a function of us not seeing a lot of new top names competing against one another throughout the season like we have in the past, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, it has felt like things are starting to heat up again, especially now that we're starting to see Francielle Mattos trying to make her presence felt. Outside of maybe 1 or 2 people who've really stepped up to the plate, there's been a lot of parity in wellness this season, which isn't necessarily a great thing when you're relying on star power to drive interest for something that's this new. But if Francielle can repeat and prove that there's at least one true superstar to contend with, it will go a long way towards establishing a true dominance hierarchy that's the backbone of all healthy competition. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.